Hey, good evening, you guys, and welcome to my exciting channel where the fun never ends with Mandela Effects. How is everybody doing tonight? I want to talk to you just about an hour to hour and a half long episode on the Lincoln assassination. Remember, that's the name of this here. And you guys know as well as I do that something is messing with our reality. Nothing is the same as it seems anymore, is it? Sometimes you really do want to go back to the old reality. You realize after seeing everything change in front of your eyes. I've had some really big ones happen lately to me personally, and it's freaked me out. I'm joined right now by Troy, and I have my dad. Hey, Dad.
Hey.
Troy.
Yes,
how you
I'm
doing
here.
out there?
How you doing, Brian?
And I believe that's Teresa. She's trying to join us as well. Hold on tight, guys.
Yep.
Teresa, are you there? Hold on. We keep missing each other. This AI is crazy. We've already crashed before we went live. We would have gone live at like 8:15. So tonight's episode is going to be on Abe Lincoln. So let's talk about this, okay? Because Troy, you're the one that brought this up to me. I felt like we had to do an episode on this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really, what I think that would be a good starting point is, what do you remember about the assassination of Abe Lincoln? I mean, what is your recollection of what events took place? That resulted in Abe Lincoln dying, and who did it? Do you have any? What was your recollection on that, Brian?
I want to ask my dad on that one. He is real big on the history. Dad, what do you remember? Hey, Teresa.
Okay. Okay.
Live.
Yeah, I'm right here. Okay. When Booth killed Lincoln, the piece that Lincoln wanted died with him. And the famous phrase from his speech was, with malice toward none and charity for all, died with him. And the South would be held responsible for the president's murder, and the peace would be a harsh one. Now, the story of the plot that took Lincoln's life is one of the strangest in American history. Lincoln's family, well, his dad was an actor and his brother was an actor, and John Wilkes Booth was the most popular of all the actors. And on March 1864, when Lincoln made his inaugural address, it turns out John Wilkes Booth was at the top railing of the Capitol looking down at Lincoln making his address. Now, it turns out Booth spent most of the winter of 1864 hatching out a wild scheme to kidnap Lincoln and take him to Richmond. But that never happened because Lee surrendered to Grant, and Richmond, the city, fell. And so John Wilkes Booth decided to kill Lincoln, Grant, the Vice President Johnson, and the Secretary of State Seward. And he had a bunch of guys, conspirators, so-called conspirators. They weren't really that bright, and like they could hardly carry out a plan to rob a bank. That's how they weren't that smart. So the plot to kill Grant and Johnson went astray. So it turns out both knew that Lincoln was going to Fort Theater that night. Well, President Lincoln was very tired because of the war. He was tired and exhausted. He didn't want to go, and he wound up going. And
let's talk about that for a minute, Dad. How was he shot, guys? You remember him being shot in the back of the head, or where was he shot?
Back of the head from a brass derringer.
A brass what? Derringer?
Derringer.
Derringer. Okay.
Yep. Right. And while when that happened, Booth also stabbed one of the military officers that was in the theater box. He got stabbed in the arm. And what happened, Booth jumped off the box, landed on the stage, broke his leg, and took off. Meanwhile, at the same time that night, Louis Payne, who was one of the conspiracy, went into the Secretary of State Seward's room and stabbed him in the face numerous times. He survived. He was alive, but Louis Payne, he took off. And so John Wilkes Booth was missing for about 11 days, and he was finally shot. And also, two of the four other conspirators were tried and hung. And one of the conspirators happened to be a woman who ran a boarding house that housed the conspirators, and she was in on the conspiracy. And what happened was when she went to trial, she declared herself innocent, and she tried to get a pardon from President Johnson, and President Johnson didn't grant her Mary Surratt, and she got hung also.
All right, so is this what you remember, or is this what you've read recently, or within the last? Because we really can't say.
Okay.
The last
book. I got a book.
The last 5 to 10 years, it's been a everything for us. Many of us people who are Mandela affected.
But yeah, before that, yeah.
Yeah. So it was before that. Do you remember there being all these conspirators, or was it a single mission, a single man? Was it John Wilkes Booth that shot Kennedy on his own without any help?
That's another thing too. But like we're still right now we're focused on this Lincoln thing. It was part of the conspiracy to overthrow the government. This was to take down because they were Confederate sympathizers and a lot of bitterness about the war ending, and they wanted to overthrow the government. That was their way of overthrowing the government by killing Lincoln, then Johnson, and going after Grant and Secretary of State.
Cool. Thanks, Dad, for sharing that. And Teresa, you're going to find me some stuff on. Would you mind finding me some stuff on John Wilkes Booth, because Troy says there's mummification. Can you help me find some of those? Yes, John Wilkes Booth. Can you help me find some of his mummified statues?
There's a lot of good photographs that you can find, and they're all in very good quality.
That's weird. Why would you mummify someone that killed the president? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then take them on tour throughout the United States.
So who was this woman? What was her name?
Mary Sutton. Wait, you talking about who now?
This woman, one of the four conspirators. What was her name that housed everybody?
Yeah, right. That's Mary Sutton, and this is where it gets kind of quirky, because I mean, in my reality, there was a lot of speculation. There's never any definitive out. Mary Sutton had nothing. I mean, I'm sure she was probably somehow as maybe a conspirator, but she was never accused. She was never, sung. There was nothing that was ever done. In fact, it was just John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth took the brunt of it all. Again, there's a lot of speculation. The other event with the attack on Seward, that as far as I'm concerned, never happened. I don't recall that at all. And there was another gentleman. He's got a weird spelling. I want to say Azalad, something like that. Another one of the guys. He actually, out, and he couldn't go. He couldn't go through with his portion the arrangement, which is after Andrew Johnson.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure if we're having. Okay. Yep. So these events that have now occurred, or now have occurred, are not at all what I remember. A lot of people that I've talked to already, they believe exactly what my recolletion is two that have transpired. So that being said, you know, it was John Wilkes Booth, and yes, he did shoot him in the back of the head. He did jump. Knew, screamed out, Semper something or other. Then he apparently, I guess he did hurt himself.
I'm sorry. What's going on? Exception here.
Remember,
Troy, I can hear about every other word. Can you hear me, Dad?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear Troy?
out
Okay.
of the theater.
All right. Go ahead, Troy. Sorry.
I can hear Brian.
I'm trying to get Teresa back in here.
I think we're getting some insurance, huh?
You can't hear me.
A little bit, Teresa. You also sound kind of digital.
This happens every time we're talking about Ronald Reagan or JFK or Lincoln. Anytime we talk about this stuff, the AI likes to try to interrupt us. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. So
Yeah, yeah.
all we're after is truth. We don't want to be lied to anymore. We're tired of being lied to. You know, they're doing an X-Files episode on the Mandela Effect. Hopefully, that's going to open up some people's eyes a little bit. So that's what we're out here for. We're out to.
You're also having a lot of interference here too, Brian. You're gonna...
We won't let them stop us.
Brian, your people in your chat room are saying that it's very
Fragmented. Yeah, the sound is fragmented. Hey, Preliminal, what's up, brother?
Yeah,
hey, Lisa.
That is kind of weird.
Dad, what were you saying about the assassination? What I was asking was it a single person that you were?
Well, okay. It was John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln alone, but there were other people that were involved to go after other people, like General Grant and the Secretary of State and President Johnson. Those people were supposed to conspirators that were going to go after other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay?
Really glitchy. I'm only catching a certain portion of the conversation. It's so weird.
There's Ty. Hey, Ty.
Brian,
Hey, how you doing?
I think once that show comes on, the X-Files about the Mandela Effect, I think
Really,
wake up and realize that you're not crazy.
Well, I think you're going to be one of the stars of the Mandela Effect, Teresa. You really are. You're really awesome.
I wish I was on the X-Files.
You are on the X-Files. It's your own private X-Files show going on right now.
Yeah, I know, but I want to be an extra and say, hey, look at my residue. I'm the residue hunter.
Well, shoot, you're right.
Scully. Look at me.
Where do they film it at? You're right there in Hollywood country.
No,
aren't you?
Las Vegas. I don't know
Well,
where
still,
they're
that's
filming
like
it. They film in different locations, not just in California.
right, of course.
They pick their locations. But wouldn't it be cool if they had a residue hunter on the X-Files for that episode? I would want to be in it.
Well, you should email the director and see what he says.
I don't know if they filmed it yet. They might have already filmed it. Was it episode 4?
Well, here's the thing: is it a part of our magic, or we're seeing the octopi, we're seeing vampire squids, gigantic grasshoppers like the size of a calf.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So, Ty, thank you for joining us. I sent you a couple of links. I'm glad you could finally make it in, brother.
I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I was looking at the time.
You're okay. Time just seems to dwindle these days. You know, we all know that.
Yeah.
But what?
It's moving too fast.
So Troy, I see Troy's here.
Yeah, how you doing, Ty?
Hey Troy, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
And my dad's here. He's giving us a history lesson.
Oh, there you go. Hey, how are you? I see you in the background all the time. Just your legs usually, just your legs, and you going like this.
So we're talking about Abraham Lincoln's assassination.
Right.
He was shot in the back of the head by a brass what?
Derringer.
Derringer.
Yeah, well, I got to say, just at the onset, I got to say, before I say anything else, I was shocked as much as probably anyone, according to the ME. You know, unfortunately, as much as I looked, Abraham Lincoln was not a vampire hunter, and I was shocked.
He was not a vampire hunter. That is true.
I was shocked. I looked for anything connecting him to vampire hunt to vampire hunter, and no.
That may be right around the corner.
No.
Is it true Abe Lincoln was a pro wrestler?
Yeah, right.
Before he studied law to make ends meet, he was a professional wrestler for a little while. Of course, answers the question.
Yeah.
How old is Vince McMahon really? Pretty old.
Well, so who wants to
Oh,
talk?
that's funny.
So let's talk about
Oh, I found a mummified body, Brian.
That's what I was
Brian,
hoping
I
for,
found
Teresa. Yeah, show me that mummified body. I want to see it.
It says 1931. 1931.
Oh wow.
Oh, look at this. I found it.
Okay, send it to me.
Wow. This is an awesome picture, too.
Okay.
Is
send
that
it to
good?
me.
I found it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Ooh, lucky me.
Yeah, Teresa, there's a whole photo of his body, too.
This is a really good picture.
I just found out today, guys.
It even says his body, too.
That's right.
Yeah, I know this is unrelated,
Hey,
but I
bud,
found.
so what is your recollection of the assassination? Remember?
My recollection of the assassination is, the ME interfered with it. I'm pretty sure, from my recollection, because there was a specific point in time, like I was just talking to Brian on the phone, and I said, to be honest with you, I always thought John Wilkes Booth, but there was a point in time that I learned that there was some sort of conspiracy. Was a big deal about it, and I said, well, that's strange. I didn't know anything about that. I just thought I was just mentioned or something. And he asked me about it again, and I said, I bet you. I said, I remember seeing the movie, and I said, and it referred to a conspiracy, but the conspiracy, I guess, was far more vast. It's up there with the Kennedy assassination with conspiracy. It's really the similarities are so similar, are so incredible that even the information, I guess, involving the Lincoln assassination key, just like the Kennedy assassination was, which is very, very strange. And there is good evidence that perhaps John Wilkes Booth wasn't actually killed in the barn, that he actually survived through a bribe to the government and to the then VP, I guess it was, that became president.
Interesting.
There was a lot of stuff going on. But my recollection was never that vast. No. It was pretty simple. And that's Booth. They exhumed him to do a DNA test to see if it was really him. But what would they? He was like, for John Wilkes Booth to kill him, by the way, and of course, Tom, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. John Wilkes Booth, unbeknownst to so many people, today, I believe, of Johnny Depp or perhaps Sean Connery. That would be because that was who it was. He was he was voted, I believe, if memory serves correctly, he was voted like the most esteemed or the most good-looking gentleman at the time. Gentleman, very John Wilkes Booth. Yes. So it would be like one of those guys, highly distinguished guy. This would be amazing. So obviously there was a little bit more to it than him having too much to drink that night. In fact, I read that to kidnap the vice president and the head of Congress, Speaker of the House,
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State, thank you, Secretary of State. And that to me was just unbelievable. These things ought not to be, because it was so vast. You would think that they would devote not only some time to it in school, but entire subject devoted to learning about it. Now, what was your recollection? Am I on you, or your guys' recollection different than mine?
Well, yeah, from what I recall, John Wilkes Booth, he got him. He jumped off the balcony. He exited Ford Theater. I think that was the comparison, from what I recall. The pinpoint right off the top of my head, but
I know what it is.
But now
it's the 1860 to 1960, 1863 to 1963, and from a theater and ran into a library, whereas Kennedy's assassination supposedly killed him from a library and ran into a theater.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And it was John. The one was John. One was it was Johnson. And whatever. It was really weird. The names were really strange too.
Yep, exactly. And so don't get off track and change up the whole structure here. So then apparently, they caught him. I guess they shot him. He was the guy that basically was the only man that was involved in that was accused. Nobody, suggestions he may have, some people involved with the but nobody was pinpointed him. It was just that lingering thing of who else could have been doing it. Anyone else? It was just him. That was the thing that was looming. But in this, not only the bar that he was in on fire. I guess one of the other guys that was with him, Harad, he surrendered. They took him into custody. It was a glory. One of the infantrymen shot him in the back head. He got a slew of bullets. And so, at that point in time, the body, mummify this body, and take him on tour. That's what they did back then. I guess apparently they won the United States who the murderer was, but that's not what I recall at all. I've never heard of his body being taken on tour. And it's the photographs now in this timeline again. If you recall the graphs of Abe Lincoln and whatnot, and some of these photographs, they are simply amazing.
Yeah, I agree. That when I was doing a little bit of research, Troy, the photographs were, I've never, ever seen them before. It was like kind of coming out of nowhere. I've never seen these photos before. These are stunning photographs that I wish I had 30 years ago. But it looks like supposedly they're 150 years old. So what do I know?
Right, exactly. And look at the photographs. Are these just simply amazing? You can see the conspirators and the are spectacular, absolutely amazing. And they really took their time to take multiple photographs of the custody. To the point where they're hanging. If you've seen they had set up for the hanging itself, you'll notice that
they've got gallows.
You know, they've got the rig all set up, and then just to the right of the rig, you'll see the graves already.
Right, and I've never ever seen that
already dug out too. So there's guys who are going to die.
No, do you agree? If that was so, do you agree, Troy, that would have been in a textbook for sure?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? For sure. It's just John Will. That looming mystery that maybe he was with somebody that he was hiding out in, but they weren't able to pinpoint it. They weren't able to get any dirt on him. Everyone is dead.
I'm getting terrible reverberation on Troy. Brian, are you?
I know. You guys, it very.
Yeah, I'm still here. A lot of glitching as well, so something is definitely rattling the system.
Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in and see if it's me. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it is you because it was doing this before. Okay, you there, Ty?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Good. Okay.
Let me jump.
I can see your father's a huge talker. I can see that.
Okay, I want to ask you guys something. I don't know. I thought Abe Lincoln had like dark eyes. Like I thought his eyes were kind of brown. Is this?
I thought they were too. Why? What color are they now?
In this photograph, they look blue.
Yeah. Well, Abe Lincoln had a disease.
Where that?
Hello.
Is that who is that?
That's his wife.
Okay. I did
Mary Todd Lincoln.
I did hear something else that I wasn't able to confirm because I didn't look into it. The death of the president's son, I believe, was Tad. That he took very, very hard. Is that right? But yeah, Tad was still alive. I read somewhere that's an ME, but I could not. I didn't get into it because I was looking. I was more intrigued by this. The gallows. There it is, right there. The gallows picture. It was crazy. That's nuts.
That's one of a grotesque image.
The defendants, all these defendants that you see hung there, to speak.
You're still getting a tremendous amount of interference, guys.
From me?
No, it's just in general from everybody. I'm getting a tremendous amount of interference.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a trial run.
Let me jump out and I'll jump right back in.
Okay.
Everything was perfect.
Those people could not. All those defendants were unable to testify at their own trial. They had no defense, which was interesting. They were not allowed to testify.
Notice how their heads are covered.
Yes,
prior
of course.
to their hanging.
Yeah, because their eyes pop out. That's why they do it.
All right. Who is this?
Very grotesque.
I don't know who this guy is here.
And that, of course, I believe that's John Wilkes Booth.
Axelrod.
Is that Herod? Okay, John Wilkes Booth.
That one?
That's Herod right there? Huh?
Yeah, that's David Axelrod, Payne, and there was Harold.
All right, they were all hung, but what about the rest of them? Did they ever catch up with the other four? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, well, there was a woman that's very notorious in all this, and she was the first woman executed ever, and that was a big thing too.
Oh wow, what is this trendy old Nashville? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Troy sent me this picture here. What is the old Nashville, Dad?
I'm not.
Yeah, that's the train that they use used to haul a.
Yeah. Yeah.
The train that they used to haul what?
I didn't catch that.
Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
It was used to haul Abe Lincoln's body weight.
Yeah, that's his portrait in the front.
Yeah, 1,700-mile trip, and he was finally laid to rest in Illinois in May.
Yeah, he's from Illinois.
Yeah.
Which one of the conspirators is this? Who is this guy?
Louis Payne.
Payne?
That picture, Louis Payne. He's the man that
Payne.
Secretary.
And that's John Wilkes Booth. That's John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, thank you. That's John. Thank you.
All right. Let's pull up the names of the conspirators again, just so we can.
You want me to
The woman in question is the most notorious next to Booth, because they got her and they got her son too.
Teresa, I want to thank you for the pictures, by the way, Teresa.
Well,
Man, very good.
out the boarding house. That's still at the conspiracy.
The boarding house in D.C.
Right, and today that boarding house is a restaurant.
Oh, the boarding house is a restaurant today?
That is a restaurant, I found out. Yep.
Well, I also wanted to point out that there was a Twilight Zone episode. You remember where
Yes, I believe.
didn't the guy try to go back in time and try to stop the assassination?
Right.
Well, I think that was for the time in Twilight Zone. It was probably too close to World War II. They couldn't do Hitler, so they did Lincoln.
Yeah. Valkyrie, whatever that. Yeah. Plot to kill Hitler. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they also tried to stop. They tried to kill Hitler too in season 4.
I quit. The man makes a comment. Okay, actually, the first assassination attempt on a president was actually made on Andrew Jackson. It turned out the man had a cap gun and fired the gun. It misfired. It turned
misfired. You got the other one, and the other one. Both of them misfired. 2 guns, both misfired.
That was Raymond Burr, right?
No.
No. This was. Guy was crazy, and he was put away, and he had a cap gun.
Well, what happened was he believe the gentleman, that the president that you're talking about, you said Jackson? Is that the one?
Andrew Jackson was almost got assassinated.
He took a stroll around the grounds, is what he did, and someone came up, surprised him, took one gun, took the other gun, both the guns misfired, and they thought it was just spectacular because both guns were in working order. But that's just from my memory. I mean, that's what I remember about that. That is what it was. But they're, that was an assassination attempt.
Yeah, then there was another assassination attempt on FDR back in Chicago in the early 30s. Someone fired a shot, and it actually killed the mayor of Chicago.
Right, and that mayor of Chicago was
Cernak? I don't know how. I can't pronounce his name. Mayor Cernak?
Yeah, there's stuff named after him.
That's what Steve. Cernak?
But there's always assassination attempts on presidents, just like Reagan's in '81.
And there was also another one attempt on Truman's life. Truman was taking a nap, and a bunch of Puerto Rican nationalists, I think, entered the Capitol and shot up some people, and Truman wasn't there.
Right, he wasn't there at all.
Yeah, he wasn't harmed at all. And of course, there were 2 attempts on President Ford.
Yes.
Yeah,
when he wasn't busy tripping and falling over stuff, he was.
Yeah, he was always
shot at.
About that. Yeah. Yeah.
Very true. All the time. They made fun of him all the time, unfairly, but they did it.
Now, President Reagan, when he was shot, the bullet just missed hitting his heart.
Yes.
And the bullet had like an exploding effect. So, he almost got killed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In '81, right.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember now. The thing is that the correlation between the JFK and the Lincoln conspiracy. There's so many correlations. There's so many tie-ins to it.
Yeah.
Is to say it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they were warning Kennedy from the time that he got elected, because he was elected in 1960. There were people giving him all sorts of warnings at the time. But at the time, he was a firebrand. He was a nut. He was crazy. He was much like, what he reminds me of? Trump. Everybody says that they love Kennedy so much. They love Kennedy so much. When he was alive, it was not really that way. People thought he was dangerous.
Well, JFK was both a conservative and a liberal. He was a liberal because he had a tax plan. I think he had pushed the tax plan to Congress. I think yeah.
He would have an agenda that you would call Republican. That's basically the way it was, because he cut taxes. He cut taxes in order to spur the economy.
Right.
And of course, nobody liked that. I mean, they did. You know what I mean? They didn't think that was a good plan.
I want to share with you guys about a minute and 24 clip here from history.com, and it talks about the assassination. Actually, like the 12 days that happened afterwards.
Of Lincoln or JFK?
Can I play it real quick?
Of Lincoln or JFK?
We're talking about Lincoln.
Okay, let's see it.
Well, Lincoln and JFK, they say, are so related, like the two conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
It may be some entanglement, on those two.
Yeah, I want to see this.
For 12 days in April 1865, thousands of federal troops, detectives, and police scoured the country. Assassin who shot President Abraham Lincoln, 26-year-old actor and die-hard Confederate John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth came from an illustrious acting family. He was strikingly handsome.
He was an actor.
And eyes as a fellow actor.
Tarrin.
It appeared to be flames coming out of his eyes.
Booth was hoping to help his native South, the South that he loved and the North that he hated, by his murderous act.
The country had always existed half slave and half free, and could continue to do so indefinitely. He was convinced Lincoln was turning into a dictator.
He thought of Abraham Lincoln as Caesar, somebody who really had this lust for power, somebody who liked power.
And I think it was having this arrogant sense of his own destiny, that somehow he thought by doing this he would be a remembered figure in history.
Booth would become immortal, not as the grand hero he fantasized he would be, but as one of the most villainous men in history.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things, I'm sure you brought up that I never recollected them doing a manhunt for him. Do you?
There's
No.
Manhunt?
No, and yeah, exactly. And for what I recall is that it was. Well, I know that they got him relatively quickly.
At the library. At the library.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They got him relatively quickly, but apparently now, I mean, he actually fled and he went through like some. I guess they had like some kind of not barricade, but they had the infantry there that were, blocking an area, and they let him pass through to an area called Charleston, where he met up with one of the other conspirators to gather some guns. And I guess because the people knew him as an actor, they just let him go. They didn't know. And then now he's role playing like a guy that was in the infantry, and that was kind of the way that he was able to get through some of the the blockades or whatever, because he was role playing, an injured soldier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So the other thing is, now I'm going to say it because this ties into our modern day 2017 with the tearing down of monuments contributed to or attributed to slavery of the South, and the renouncing of the Confederate flag. Everyone knows that, at least from my timeline, everyone knew, yes, slavery had something to do with the Civil War, but that was just a side point. There was a whole lot of stuff going on there, and everybody understood that. Now it seems like nobody understands that in regular public knowledge. Everybody understood that the South was
John Wilkes Booth, most of his Shakespearean roles he was obsessed with violence. A lot of stage performances where he used a sword, or a gun or something. I don't know, or something, but he was obsessed with violence as an actor.
You're talking about Booth.
John Wilkes Booth, yeah.
Yes.
He was obsessed with violence, a lot of his roles on stage, Shakespeare.
Now, the accusation that he hurled from the stage and saying, of course, death to tyrants.
Right.
That is an actual fitting title for Lincoln for what he did. If he didn't, let me tell you something, if the South won that war, and they could have, they just didn't. But if the South won that war, Lincoln would be going down as a tyrant. Absolutely. He did things that if they tried to do that stuff today, boy, oh boy, you'd have a lot of trouble doing it. And they tried to tone it down historically. Oh, yes, he put newspaper editors in jail. He put in the sitting Congress in jail is what he did to shut them up. That he did that. Now, name me a president that ever did that. Nixon never did that. Reagan never did that. You understand that? He did that stuff. And, sending gunboats down to Mississippi, that was his answer. He answered them. Sending gunboats down to Mississippi. He met them. And it wasn't because of slavery. It was because of the amount, basically the South, in a nutshell, thought that the federal government was overstepping their bounds unfairly because they were giving help to the Northern, like fishing, things like that. They were giving government assistance to them, and either monetary or policy-wise. And the South was completely, how do you want to say it? They were autonomous. They didn't need help. And so they weren't going to be told what to do by the federal government that they said was working for them. They were the federal government, not the other way around. And ta-da, then you had succession. That's basically what it was. Slave, everybody agreed that slavery was wrong, which is another thing that I thought was really weird. Everybody agreed that slavery was wrong, but nobody understood how to go about it because, as you know, slavery, as bad as it is, at the time, you understand, they were viewed as property, and they were viewed as money and as material goods, as wealth. You understand? So it's very hard to get away from that as business owners. From that side, you understand.
Yep.
But not advocating slavery. Please don't say that. I'm not advocating. Slavery is terrible. Slavery happened not only to the blacks, but also the Indians, the Irish, the Chinese. Who doesn't know this? Everybody knows it's terrible. Yep. The Chinese built a lot of our railroads, guys. The Chinese built our railroads.
Yep.
Well, they were called back in the day. They weren't called slaves. They were called indentured servants.
Indentured servants is something completely different. One was a slave and one's an indentured servant. An indentured servant worked off a fee for a period of time for whatever thing. Think of it as trying to get from Mexico to the United States. I'll bring you there, but you work for me for 5 years. Guess what? That would be an indentured servitude. Nice. Slavery was something completely different, but I understand what you're saying.
No, that's cool. I have another video to share with you. It's actually talking about his escape. John Wilkes.
Okay.
His escape.
Yeah. Okay. I can't believe how much information is out there about it. It was never there. I'd never seen it before.
Well, I would still love to see it in a reenactment, because they always do these reenactments that you can go and see. I would be interested to find out if they recall the old way or the new way. So the Mandela effect here is a possible Mandela effect here is just remembering what happened, whether it was one person behind it or it was John Wilkes Booth was a ringleader, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yes, and not only was it one. It was given to us like a lone wolf person. That's Troy. Do you remember that? Like a lone wolf guy upset. He was upset about something.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
Yep.
Okay. And they got him right away. That's it. Open and shut. That's it.
Yep.
And when you look back in history about John Wilkes Booth, you probably have a paragraph or two, and that's it. You wouldn't have anything that you have like this today.
Not at all. You know, that's exactly right. He acted alone, and there was some suggestions that he perhaps had some conspirators, but they weren't able to pinpoint anybody.
Right.
Oh no, the plot to kill Grant and Johnson went astray. I think a couple of the conspirators were supposed to carry out the acts on Grant and Johnson. It never happened.
Right.
Yep.
But I guess Grant was attacked and stabbed several times, but survived. Is that right? Or was it Johnson that was attacked? No, it was Grant that was attacked and stabbed several times, and he survived, which I'd never heard before in my life.
Yeah, I've never heard that either.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking at that picture of John Wilkes Booth and that man in the background.
Yeah,
Right there.
Who's that man?
David Harold. David Harold.
Yeah, Harold.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, David Harold. But
All right.
John Wilkes Booth and Louis Payne were the only ones to carry out violent acts.
Right.
Killing Lincoln and Louis Payne attacking the Secretary of State.
So I guess in some people's eyes, I guess John Wilkes Booth was a hero. I guess he was trying to be like a hero by doing some murderous act.
Well, because
because
it's revisionist history now. They paint Abraham Lincoln as one of the fathers, not a father of the country, but a very good leader, a man of morals and conviction. When, of course, you read about it now, you see that he had all sorts of trouble. You know, and there was a lot of things that he did that you are just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, some people
thought
Tarrin.
Well,
yeah, he did some pretty. And the thing is that from what I understood when I was a kid, going years back, is that he was the reason why they said. Now, Tom, obviously you're older than I am, so you would understand this, okay? Maybe from what you heard, is that when they said the South will rise again, it wasn't because of slavery or anything. It was because when the North went down in the final push to stop the South, they left no one. They burned down everything. They killed everybody. And they did such utter destruction that they didn't need to do it, and really left a bad taste in the South's mouth. And therefore, the South said, "We will rise again. We're not going to forget." And that's why they say it. From what I understood.
Yeah, General Sherman marched to the sea. He destroyed everything in his path. Where he captured Atlanta, which is depicted in the movie called The Wind. And when I see those scenes where all those plantations were destroyed, that was very upsetting to watch. But that's war. War,
right.
Was Sherman that said war is hell.
Right, and from what I understand now, given the accounts from what I could read in just a few hours, the South was upset because the South was a reluctant enemy that they really didn't want to fight their brethren. They didn't want to fight their counterparts. They were fighting against the principle. Yeah. And Lincoln many times had the opportunity to stop it, from what I understand, and just come to terms. And he chose not to. He wanted a unified country. That's what he wanted, and nothing short of a unified country. And that's what happened. From what I read. Okay,
what I want to bring up was Lincoln's first and second terms did not come very easily. When you go back to Lincoln's first administration, the North was losing the war, and it wasn't until Gettysburg that turned everything around. And the second term, when Grant went after Lee in May of 1864, saw the bloodiest, savage, brutal fighting ever seen on the North American continent. Grant lost half his army, but he was able to get reinforcements. Lee's army lost thousands of prisoners, and his troop strength was just dwindling, and that's what led to the surrender of Appomattox.
Right, they cut him off. They cut him off. He had no support. They cut him off. Is what happened.
Right. Trench. Grant entrenched Lee for months, and then he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, they were starving. They were starving on the battlefield. They were starving on the battlefield. They had nothing. They had nothing.
I mean, General Lee was a great general. He ran out. He ran out of supplies and men. He gave Grant a fight of his life. If you study the battles between Grant and Lee, they were savage. You're talking thousands of casualties. I mean, Grant lost half his army, but he was able to get reinforcements.
Right. And just to throw it out there for those people who listen to the garbage in the last few years about there being some sort of civil war in the United States, just to dispel any idea of the United States as a populace winning against any form of the United States military, even the local, we would not stand even a whisper of a chance versus anybody. But versus our own forces, there's nothing. It's not like it used to be. Not like it used to be 150 years ago that you could give some sort of fight. There's no fight today. That would be the end of it. And just to let everybody know, it's. I know we have guns. We could give a foreign power coming in. We could give them a hard time, yes. But against our own forces, we don't have a chance. There's nothing that we can do. Nothing at all. I don't mean to laugh about it, but there's nothing that we can do. So that any type of civil uprising would be put down very efficiently, even compared to the 70s. It would be put down very quickly, very efficiently, no problem.
Well, the Southern men who had families that ran those plantations, they were very proud people, very gallant and everything. And even what you saw in the movie, they were very gallant people. They were proud of their land, and they didn't want interference from the South. They didn't like the idea of the South telling them what to do. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Can you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Did we lose Ty?
No, we lost Teresa. We might have lost Ty too. Teresa, you there?
Yes, you keep calling me by video.
No, I didn't mean to call you by video.
You see me now, really.
Okay, I get it. You're a lady.
Not when I'm not to look my best.
That's okay. It's okay, Teresa. I wanted to share with you guys this video because it's only about 3 minutes long. It's with John Wilkes Booth's escape. You want to see that?
Yeah. Let's check it out.
It's on from history.com. Hopefully, they'll let me play without a copyright strike. Guys, keep your fingers crossed for me. You know how YouTube is.
Yeah.
You can go in effect.
You gotta listen.
Reality thing.
Which one?
The neutrality new law. When does that go into effect?
Net neutrality. I'm not sure. They haven't fully decided yet. I think. I believe Trump is fighting against it.
Good.
Let's hope we.
Obama's thing, right? The net neutrality. That was Obama's thing.
Well, this is the FCC. They fought in court over it, and what was it? Three of them voted or something like that. And
yeah, they had a total of 5 people, and they voted in favor of, I guess, 3 out of the 5 voted. So they
voted for it. They voted for it, but with stipulations, of course, which we don't even know what those stipulations are at this point.
Yeah,
so we'll have to find out whenever.
What was the behind that? What was the reason? Was it because of censorship?
Well, what they're claiming is that they want to have fair competition for the net. But I think it's just BS. Is what it all comes down to. Is that they're gonna basically do a pay to play so they can make more money.
Hey, Teresa, you there?
It's all about the money. Yeah, it's all about the money. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The money.
And they can arbitrarily choose whatever websites that they want to slow down. So if you want to watch, Netflix, they can slow it down. If you want to go faster, you have to pay more.
I've got a prize I'm giving away, guys. Whoever can guess in the chat, not for us here, but for the people who are in the text chat, if you can guess the name of that movie where they say "Show me the money,"
I know that one.
but you can't give it away. You're going to get a free copy of Gone with the Wind, the brochure. I actually have a scanned copy of it, so you guys are welcome to have that for the winner. And Teresa, since you know the answer, can you tell me who the winner is? Send me an email, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Here's the video clip with John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth and his accomplice David Harold are on the run in southern Maryland. Booth and Harold finally make it across the Potomac River into Virginia. They threaten the son of a freed black man to give them a ride further south. Near Port Royal, Virginia, 3 Confederate soldiers approach the ferry landing where Booth and Harold are waiting to cross.
One of them was a guy named Willie Jett, kind of bubbling over with enthusiasm because he's never met a famous person before. And eventually it comes out that these are the guys responsible for the president's assassination.
And these Confederate soldiers, they know a farm where Booth and Harold will probably be safe. The farm of Richard Garrett.
He took on a disguised name and just said he was a Confederate soldier who had been wounded and was making his way home himself. Meanwhile, 18th New York Cavalry heads south down the Potomac River toward a landing not far from where Booth and Harold crossed. The cavalry detachment interrogates everyone they find.
A fisherman there and says Willie Jett was with them. Willie Jett.
That Confederate soldier revealed that they were at the Garrett farm.
It's 2 a.m., April 26, 1865. Booth killed Lincoln. 25 men arrive at the Garrett farm.
Then Jack Garrett, the oldest boy, comes out and he tells the soldiers, look, whoever you're looking for, it's probably those guys that are locked in the barn.
They come out and surrender.
Oh my God.
Booth says,
Brian, I got a winner.
Come in and
you got what?
David Harold
who won?
That he's had enough.
Okay, tell her to email me. Who won?
Tell them I have arms.
I can't say the name. Age? Diesel?
Oh, H. Diesel, yeah.
You know him, Brian.
Okay. I know him. I know him. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's it. Jerry Maguire.
Yep, that's
all right, tell him to email me.
Boston Corbin fires one shot, wanting to hit Booth in the arm. But the bullet strikes Booth in the right side of the neck. Soldiers rush inside and carry Booth from the burning barn.
Booth lay there on Garrett's porch for 3 hours, dying, paralyzed from the neck down. And as his final moments came, he said, "Tell Mother I did it for my country," and died.
All right, I just congratulated him.
After Booth shot Lincoln, the assassin dies of a gunshot wound, very similar to the one that killed the president.
Except they have him, and another theory is that Booth lived many years. I think he lived until 1903.
I heard about that.
That was another, which I'd never had heard before, through a bribery deal that he made. So I'd never heard that before. What about you, Tom?
Dad, you there?
Brian, congratulate the winner.
Oh, congratulations, H. Diesel.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Hey, Troy, have you ever heard that?
I'm sorry, guys.
The Disney have got away?
No, I haven't. No, this is new to me.
No.
Dad, you there?
Hearing that Booth got away would be the equivalent of Lee Harvey Oswald actually works down at the video shop down there.
Right? Exactly.
No.
Exactly, man.
No. They got. He was actually shot. No, he went, took a bus,
Right.
Yeah, no. Works in Kentucky. Works at a video shop.
Ask Brian.
Thursdays and
Hi,
Fridays.
Rena.
Yeah.
How you doing, Rena?
Rena.
Nice to see you.
Absolutely, man. That's funny.
Because you understand, even at that time, people need to understand. Who's ever watching this video, you need to understand at that time, the news was so much bigger back then. They didn't have the news cycles that we have now. Now in 2017, 2018, they're very, very fast. Whereas even 20, 30 years ago, they would stick on one story for months. And before, even from the 70s and the 80s, they would stick on one story for a very long time. After that, it would be local news. For something like the president's death, they dwelled upon that. It's a memorial. The nation was in mourning. That's what would have happened for a long time. And so Booth, he would have been infamous.
Yeah.
I don't see how he could have.
Yeah. Wait, who is? Yeah.
Another video is trying to have a Mandela convention.
Yeah, he's trying to do one too. That's
You know,
fine.
I don't remember that, Teresa. But of course, could be.
You don't remember the convention?
No, Teresa, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Like, I was. No, I was hoping to do one in Texas.
Looks like
If anyone's up for Texas. Yeah, we had one convention. I think like 50. I was hoping for a lot larger audience. It's fine.
Yeah, it is. It's her. You're correct.
Yeah,
she's got like she's got like a light, like a stop light or something in her picture. Stop light.
Yeah, that's Vanessa VA.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd go to hers. But she'd have to come to mine too.
The DMV area, about even your city, state, and age in the comments.
Yeah, it's this one right. Let me show you the video, guys. It's this one right here. If you want to go to that one too. I don't know when. Did she say when she's doing it?
I didn't get to watch it yet. I sent you the link if you want to watch a few snippets of it, or show a few snippets. I don't think she'll get upset.
Like Delaware, is that Delaware? Something,
I haven't watched it yet, sorry.
Yeah, it's for Delaware,
Maryland, Virginia,
Vermont.
I just happened to subscribe to her show and it popped up. Sorry.
I thought it was going to be the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah, so did I at first. But...
Who?
Dr. Karen Lupo commented on her thing. It says,
Yeah.
Hi there. A few folks came onto my live stream today and told me to come check out your video. If you get it off the ground, let Unirock and myself know we will help out. I also subscribe to you. Keep up the new info. Good luck. One day ago. That was Tarrin Lupo.
That's good.
He wants to help out with her for the convention. Him and Unirock want to get involved.
That's good.
Yeah.
And there's
that'd be cool. That's great. People on the East Coast. I'd love to have one in the middle of the country, you know. Also, so when did she say when it is?
There's a few people that do want to go to it.
Yeah, I want to go.
Meegs even hold on. Meegs
yeah,
even
she
said something.
Yeah,
Meegs said something. Meegs
Yeah.
said, I'm in St. Louis MO, but if folks set something up, I would potentially love to come.
Yeah,
I'm in a bit too busy to help plan at the moment, but you have my support. A meetup would be awesome. And that's your Meegs.
Meegs is quite a ways away from the Vermont area. That's got to be, what, 1,200 miles?
We could do one
That's a haul.
Yeah. Because that's central over to the east. Quite a bit. That's it. I mean,
guys, it really doesn't take that much. Let me say, it really doesn't take that much to do a convention, guys. You know what all you need?
Basically, Field says you can have Bluebeard Mandela Effect Guru and other speakers.
You guys, I've got one of these expensive projectors, 4K video projectors that we can.
Douglas, Georgia. Brian, where's Douglas, Georgia?
Douglas, Georgia. Oh, really? Is there someone in Douglas doing one?
Yeah, that's where he said Douglas, Georgia, 30 miles west of Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yeah, that's not far from me actually. That's like Georgia.
I wonder if that's where they're going to have it at. You know, play it?
Where you talking about Vanessa's video?
Yeah, because this person just said something Georgia.
Troy, where are you located? Are you in California?
Yeah, I'm in California. I'm over here in the Anaheim area, Garden Grove.
I'm not even familiar with that.
Wait, hold on.
Well, Disneyland.
Yeah, what happened at Disney?
Anaheim. Anaheim?
Yep, Anaheim.
What happened to Disney today?
Power went out.
The power went off, huh?
Yeah, did they forget to pay the bill or what happened?
No, I'm not even certain. I haven't even looked into that. You had mentioned that earlier. I haven't,
California, as you know, has had trouble with its grid for a long time, just like we have in the East. There's a tremendous strain on the grid. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Huge strain. They could have trouble at any time, but for Disneyland to have trouble is a big deal.
That's a huge
because they do think, yeah, that's a huge deal. It's very, very expensive there. Very expensive.
So about 47 minutes ago, CNN announced the power has finally been restored at Disneyland.
Right.
Wow. That's been a while. So these people have been sitting around waiting for power to come back on.
Well, I know. Now let me ask you this: how far are you from Anaheim from the fires that are going on up there, Troy?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up Christ the Redeemer now.
Changed.
You mean the one? Well, I'm not certain. I really don't watch the news, so I don't know. Is this a new fire or something?
Hold on.
No, the big fire, the one that's the biggest fire in history now.
Oh, okay. That was pretty far up north. I would say probably about a good couple hours.
Guys, speaking of Christ,
man, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isaiah,
I just discovered today. Actually, I didn't discover it, but I found out today from Adam that half of Isaiah 25 is gone. It's missing.
All right, what is it? Let's take a look.
Isaiah 25 only has 12 verses now. It used to have like 31.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I brought that up to a few people today at work, and they were just.
What's the verse?
They didn't want to pay attention. Isaiah 25. So what's going on with Christ the Redeemer here? Do you guys remember him showing off this chest area like that, or was that like that?
Where is that in South Brazil?
I don't remember him showing off his heart like that.
Where is that? In Brazil? Or where is it? South America? Where is it?
Is it abs too? Christ the Redeemer. Where? Rio de Janeiro?
I think so. Did you hear what I said? That Damien G, you need to thank him. He's the one that put something in the chat about it.
Thank you, Damien. Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't know.
No, they say statue, the height of the statue changed also or something, the base of it. Right? Wow. It changed.
I don't know. I know that.
Pull up shot from the front. He said, pull up a shot from the front. Damien did.
Yeah, I'm looking. I know.
It was there. It was there. There it is.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, since we're touching on some new stuff, one of the things I stumbled across just the other day was there's a new Great Wall.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, Lazlow mentioned that in one of his videos.
He mentioned Great Wall of Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
But now there's a new Great Wall.
Which is Peru?
Oh, Pakistan.
Peru, right.
Yep.
Peru.
Great Wall, Peru.
Now, Pakistan would make sense if it's going right in the middle of Kashmir. That would make sense.
Yeah.
But Peru doesn't make sense at all.
No.
It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
I guess they just had some free time.
Yeah, because that doesn't even make sense. But Pakistan would make some sense. Pakistan would make some sense because they're fighting terribly, from my memory, you understand, over Kashmir.
Yep.
And it's this heavily disputed land. And if they put up a wall, I would certainly understand, because those people, we can't tell the difference between an Indian and a Pakistani. Don't get me wrong. We could not tell them apart. Okay,
No, you're right.
One runs Dunkin' Donuts, the other one runs Mr. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
What the fuck is that? We would not really be able to tell the difference between them, and they desperately hate each other. Desperately, they don't like each other at all.
I feel like I would have remembered the heart being there on his chest. He's holding out his hands, and then of course there's the wounds from his palms, right? And then on his chest.
Wait, is that like a necklace or something, or is that?
No,
it's his heart right there.
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart. I don't remember that.
It does not mirror the images I've seen on other pictures of it. You understand? But I'm not looking at the statue. I'm thinking of all the placards we had. From every funeral card, mass card, you understand they have this, and it doesn't match the picture.
Guys, you know who I'm thinking we would have to ask about this? Scarabperformance.
Right? It looks like a necklace or something.
Because Scarabperformance did a video on this months ago.
Hey, Brian.
About the size.
About the size of the statue. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Hey, Brian, pull up Mount Rushmore.
Pull up Mount Rushmore. Let's see if Waldo's there yet.
Pull Mount Rushmore, man. It's very strange.
It was on the left. Brian.
Was that still in the Black Hills?
Oh, it moved?
You'll see what I mean. Mount Rushmore looks weird.
Damien said, Brian.
Yeah.
Rushmore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now watch, pull it up. You'll see. It's not as defined as it was before. It's still the same characters, but watch and you see the faces.
Oh. That. I need an actual picture. Because it's not what I see it in Photoshop. And he's at the wrong place. Is that what you guys got? My first impression is Lincoln's wrong and he's in the wrong place.
Now, yep, and not only that, but look at the sculpting of it now.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Those things, because those are. Unless I stand corrected, these are the granite hills of Black Hills, North Dakota, South Dakota. I don't know, but the Black Hills. These are granite. And these were immaculate.
Yeah.
These were now they will degrade. You see how Thomas Jefferson is degraded right there?
Yep.
There was no degrading in my memory. No degrading like that. None. They were like pristine. They were beautiful.
Yep.
And there was no space between Roosevelt and Lincoln that I recall.
Look at the nose. Look at the nose. The noses are all weird.
No, the nose is wrong. That doesn't.
No. Right. Thomas Jefferson looks all wrong to me.
Right.
What's the matter?
Okay, Washington looks fairly the same.
Yes.
But you guys all know from on our last episode we talked about Washington never wearing a wig. Apparently in this reality he never wore a wig. Like that.
Okay. There was a picture.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over people.
So it affected the statues too?
Wait, Dad, were you saying something?
Okay, there was a picture of George Washington. I think it was taken before the Revolutionary War. I think in the French Indian War, he had brown hair. He was a military officer for the British Army during the French Indian War.
All right, but Dad, this photograph that you're looking at, does this from your memory? You've seen thousands of photos of Mount Rushmore. Does this look like what you remember?
Yeah, growing up, that's I remember. The picture is also a famous picture, a portrait of Washington wearing a white hair wig or whatever you call it. But he one time had brown hair.
Can I say something? I feel like there's something wrong with Teddy Roosevelt here. Like his
glasses are.
It's like he's pulled his head in. Where like I remember is more of an actual face. Now it's like flat with the stone.
Yeah,
and he's not looking happy.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. It was more prominent.
And again, I'm just gonna say it. Just throw it out there again. No Waldo.
Not yet.
I'm looking. You know. But there's definitely the degradation is incredible. I've never seen it before. The positioning is wrong. This is definitely an Emmy. There's no doubt in my mind that's an Emmy.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Absolutely.
And even
absolutely.
look at Abe. Even Abe looks weird. He doesn't look right. I don't know. Something doesn't look right about a lot of them.
Abe looks like a young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he definitely did not look like a young kid. Why don't you check out the Lincoln Memorial to see if that's still right?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well,
yeah, I checked that out, Mike. That looks odd. It looks like an amateur
because
did it.
Isn't the Lincoln Memorial made out of marble, or what is it made out of? It's made out of granite, is it not? Just like that is. It's made out of granite.
Yeah, Teresa, hold on. Okay, so let's talk about it the way it is now.
No, I was just telling you to pull out a dollar bill. Pull out a dollar bill. Look, Washington on there now.
Okay, I believe Lincoln may have shifted again.
Oh, for God's sakes. Believe it or not, I believe his hair is wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think his hair is wrong. Other than that, I mean, his hand's positioning may be wrong, but I'm gravitating right to his hair, and I don't know.
I don't know, man.
What's with his foot? Is his foot wrong? His right foot. Is his foot wrong?
Wait,
at the bottom?
His foot's sticking out like that?
Foot's sticking out.
Yeah. Foot sticking out?
No way. No,
his foot is sticking out. It was never sticking out like that.
Never sticking out.
Look at that. Oh, that's so weird.
That's crazy. And they're cleaning his ears, and that's good because I've always wondered. You know, but
was his foot sticking out?
No.
His foot wasn't sticking out like that? No.
No way. No way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So Teresa,
I'm sending you a picture.
all right.
Yeah, that's
because
weird.
all these pictures show his foot sticking out. No.
No way. Nope. Nope.
Let's see what the people in the chat are saying. What do you guys remember? Was his foot sticking out?
Both of his legs were regular. Both of his legs were just sitting regular.
Yep.
As opposed
to side by side.
Right. We're gonna
and his left hand was actually draped over. It wasn't in a fist either. But that I think it's already been.
It was not in a fist, right? But that was something that we've seen before.
Yeah.
So that's why I said the hair maybe looks wrong.
Yeah, the hair does look a little bit weird.
I bet you does it line up with the Mount Rushmore?
That's what I want to find out. Now, just take that image and see if we can go back to Mount Rushmore. See if that looks like it, because
he even looks younger. He did not look. Look at that face. Yeah. He did not look that young.
No,
he did not look that young.
Can I bring up about Mount Rushmore for a minute?
You remember how pristine Mount Rushmore was? Mount Rushmore was pristine, and now it's like it looks like an amateur did it.
Looks like Subway stuff. But go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can talk over us. We'll stop.
Hey, Dad.
Okay, anybody seen the movie, the Hitchcock movie called North by Northwest? There's a scene at the end of the movie where Cary Grant and Eva Marie Saint are being chased by villains, and they're on the monument, and they have to climb down. That freaked me out. You have to see it's on you. If you go to YouTube video and type in the ending scene of North by Northwest, check out the scene where they're climbing down the monument. It'll freak you out. I couldn't even think about climbing down that monument.
North by Northwest?
It's called
North by Northwest. Hitchcock. Just put in North by Northwest. Come right up.
Alfred Hitchcock. You got to see that scene. That scene to this day blows my mind. Who in the right mind would climb down a monument like that? No way I could do it. You have to see the scene, the ending of that movie. If it's come across, it'll freak you out.
Hopefully we can watch part of the end here.
After Hitchcock, I stopped at the birds. I stopped there. I didn't continue on. You know, Hitchcock and the birds, that was it for me. I'm kidding.
My dad took me to see the movie North by Northwest, and the following year, check this out.
That's it. That's the scene.
Yeah, check it out. Can you put that video on?
I'm trying. It's I don't know if it's going to play for us or not.
That's unbelievable. No, it's not.
It's not playing, I don't think. Teresa, I have to take it off screen watch before I can.
Yeah. Well, on your own time, check it out.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Oh. That's good.
For the best news of all, you can enjoy this wonderful vacation while seated comfortably in this theater. I promise you nothing but entertainment from all your problems.
Oh, it's Alfred Hitchcock. I didn't know that.
Of course.
Oh, here it is. This is like the scene right here.
Inspiration of a
Yeah,
great
Rena.
American. The serene nobility of Mount Rushmore. On this tour,
Let's see. Do that again on big screen.
people are also friendly in the great tour. And now for the climax of our tour.
There it is.
Yep.
Of a great American monument. The serene nobility of Mount Rushmore.
Okay. So there it is. If you guys,
I can see the picture on. I can see the advertisement for North by Northwest matches the monument that we just saw.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's weird.
That is weird.
That movie was made in 1959. The following year, 1960, Hitchcock made Psycho.
But I'm looking at this, but I sort of remember. I kind of remember Theodore Roosevelt.
Round glass.
He was looking.
Round glasses, and he was stately looking, but he was more round face. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
His face wasn't pulled into the rock like that.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not confusing him with Robin Williams' character. And I know what I'm talking about. And I don't remember the space between Lincoln and Roosevelt at all.
Well, his glasses were definitely much more defined too. Now they're just kind of like, buried into the design, I guess.
Drawn in, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone probably used a Sharpie. It was a big Sharpie.
Like, close enough.
Yeah,
you get the point.
That foot is definitely out. That foot is definitely out.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, he's looking like he's getting ready to get up and walk around.
It does, and that's we were commenting on that, Brian, if I recall from your original video when we were talking about the Abraham Lincoln Monument.
He looks a lot younger though too.
We were talking about if he looked like he was getting up, and now the only thing missing is him to be, instead of sitting back, him to be a little bit forward. If you were looking at things in succession, because now it looks even more.
Right, he's chilling.
Yeah. And the face is wrong. Look at that face.
Yeah, so young.
His stare is wrong. His stare is wrong. Look at that. Remember his
bacon stare.
His beard is different. It wasn't as bushy as it is now. Look at how bushy that is.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of strange.
Does this look like what you remember? You took me there to the Lincoln Memorial.
I've been there too.
I was about to say that. Okay. What I wanted to say was one weekend, my wife and I took our son down to Washington. I had a clear blue thing, and we took a tour. We went to the Lincoln Memorial, and we walked. We did the Smithsonian Air Museum, and we saw the American History Museum. We did a tour of the Vietnam Memorial in one day, and the walk, because down in Washington they have a subway system called the Metro. It is so immaculate, and we didn't have to take a car down there. We stayed at a hotel near a block from the Metro and took the Metro to the monument. It was awesome.
Right. Within that zone, it's very safe. Outside of that zone, it's just a war zone. It's the truth. It's the truth. Everybody knows that. You go down there, you go near the monuments, you go near the Pennsylvania Avenue. It's very safe. It's pristine. Everything's wonderful. You step 1 foot out of it, and you're looking for trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. It's by far the worst, most dangerous It used to be. I don't know if Chicago's gotten beat now, but one of the most dangerous places in the world.
Well, that's at night.
It is. Yeah, right. At night. At night is when these statues come alive. I mean, I saw the movie.
Yeah.
You know, but now you know what we need to. You trace things, Brian, right? And one of the things that I'd be looking at is you see how you have a close up and you see the markings on here and the careful etchings in the chair that he's sitting in. See the etchings?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be wondering if those etchings would change.
These things?
Yeah. It looks like a wood or a wicker.
Yeah, I never remembered them as being wood. I remembered them as being a solid piece, smooth. I don't know. What do you think, Troy?
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't remember wicker at all. I don't remember the wicker at all.
I remember it being smooth.
Guys, is HD still there?
He should be.
I would like to see his take on Abraham Lincoln because he's an artist.
I think I really do think, my opinion, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to just shout it out there, but my opinion is that his stare, if you would think of your stare in your eyes, looking at a particular degree or a particular angle, I would think he's looking a different direction.
Yeah, he's not as intense as he was before. He just looks like defeated.
He just looks like meh. How about MEH? Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he looked very distinguished. He would be to me the most distinguished of all the distinguished looking of all the presidents.
Guys?
Yes.
Brian?
No, I just noticed something that he had this like mark on his face. Do you guys ever remember that?
This is all new to me. This is all wrong.
You remember having a beauty mark and on his face?
Where's the beauty mark? Where do you see it?
But I remember it.
I don't remember it.
These are just images. These are just images. And
I know. I'm looking.
I don't. No. I always remembered from my childhood Lincoln in the top hat. Very stately looking. That's it.
Tall hat. Yep. Tall hat. He was very tall. And
Yes.
when he was running for president, he didn't have a beard. He ran against Stephen Douglas. And the last bit before going to Washington, he decided to grow a beard. Of course, Mary Todd Lincoln didn't like it at all. No.
Mary Todd Lincoln, I remember her as being, correction guys, our panel here, I want to ask a question. Does everybody remember here Mary Todd Lincoln, which is Lincoln's wife, being a complete nut job? Lincoln's wife was a complete nut job.
Dad,
she was a nut job.
She was a nut job, wasn't she, Dad?
Yeah. She was sent to a sanitarium.
No.
Yeah. But of course, the Lincoln's death affected her, and she
was crazy.
Okay.
Hey, Brian. Also, you know, if you also dig up this, you can. There's also another photo that's floating around out there. That's the actual deathbed photo of Abe Lincoln.
And that was that's what I was going to say. The deathbed photo they did. Now, it wasn't a deathbed photo that they did. They had deathbed castings. They did castings where they wrapped them, and it was a molding of all the presidents. That's what they used to do all the time, and they should still have that. But that photo is right. They did castings.
Same thing. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Now, Ty, they actually do have a deathbed photo of him, and apparently the photographer sneaked a photo, and he kept it hidden for a long time. If you look at the actual deathbed photo, there's an actual photo of him.
Yeah.
I don't. They did not sneak things back then. I mean, maybe they. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? This isn't some Van Halen concert in '82. No, they didn't sneak things back then. No.
And there's a whole story, and there's a whole story behind it too. How he had the opportunity, so he snuck it really fast, and then he hid it.
Right. He hid it underneath his jacket. He laughed.
Right? Yeah.
Didn't tell his mom. Didn't tell his mom. Had his friends over. Yeah.
Guys.
Okay.
Rushmore.
Rushmore.
Okay, look, guys, look at Lincoln's left hand. Like it is.
Yep.
Did I find a good resident?
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Look,
That's a
his hand's not balled up, and look, it's got the wicker So this is a rendering of it, and the hand is wrong, right?
Yep, hand is
But
wrong.
but the foot is forward. So obviously this may be in a state of, and I'm going to say it, maybe in a state of,
Yeah, that's residue.
maybe in a state of quantum flux. We're going to have to look at it.
Residue.
Where'd you get this one? On a coloring book?
Yeah, coloring books. They don't
Oh,
lie
wow.
to
See,
children.
I didn't think to check coloring books.
Coloring books don't lie, you know that. Right.
Nope, they tell
Look at this, guys.
It's the naked truth before you color it.
No, look, where's that space? Where's that space that's there now? It's not in this photo.
It is in the photo. There it is, between Lincoln and...
Yeah, thank you.
Ryan, is that good residue?
Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, you can see more of...
You know what? Whoever's going back in time is not thinking about coloring books. They're not changing the coloring books.
All right.
Forget about that.
All right, don't give them ideas, okay? They say don't give them...
Look at... You see...
No.
Yeah, but nobody ever thinks of coloring books.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. The millennials are into coloring books, so go ask them. Oh man, I'm gonna lose some people.
You could see. No, millennials. No. All right. Look how his face is more standing out of the rock. See?
Yes.
That's how I remember it.
See?
I think I'm submitting, Troy, you're going to have to help me with this. I'm submitting that Roosevelt was the most defined next to Lincoln of all the presidents. You would have to really look at, you'd have to look at, I would say that Roosevelt was the most easily identifiable character on Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. You knew him. You knew him. Absolutely.
The way it looks now, you're like, wait a second, is that
who's this guy?
He worked in the AV department. That's Eddie. No, it's Roosevelt. Right.
Yeah, who put Eddie up?
You put Eddie up there, right? So, but when you read about the undertaking of this, it was a I don't want to say monumental undertaking, but it really was. It was a tremendous task.
Hey,
it was not some small thing.
Hey, H, Diesel. Yeah, dude, Mount Rushmore looks messed up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I meant to ask you about that, buddy.
Here's a live chat. They're just talking.
Well, how many years?
His son was a hemophiliac.
It's going fast right now because it's like reversing
catching up.
The past 5 minutes, I guess. Yeah, it's catching up.
Does anybody remember again just the idea of Lincoln's son dying? Lincoln's son dying. He took that very hard.
I believe, from depression, Lincoln. I think 2 of his children died during his administration.
I think one died before, either in the first term. I think it was very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. He was very depressed.
Yeah.
And he was suffering from a condition that affected his skeletal system. And doctors say, this is just found out, that he may have not lived another second term. He would have died because of the skeletal system in his body, the way it was. Because when you look at pictures, if you look at the picture of 1865, he aged tremendously.
Just like all the presidents do now, they age tremendously. Yeah. But that's not the point. He did age tremendously. Yeah, he took it very, very hard, but he had trouble on every side, nationally, locally, with the family and his wife. And yes, Brian, to answer Diane, yes, he was agreeing that the ME is in a state of flux, perhaps with the Lincoln Memorial. We need to keep an eye on it, and I agree. I agree.
Oh, wow. They actually want you to trace the 130-year evolution of Coca-Cola logo. I just saw the word trace, and I'm like, yes, trace it.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah. How many Mandelas have we caught, Teresa, red-handed? Like at least 4 of them I know of. 4 or 5. Mid-change. Which is crazy. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late, so we'll probably have to call it a night, you guys. I felt like we really had to talk about this. I know we kind of got a little bit off topic. It's okay. That's how we roll in the Shire.
Yeah.
So Anyway, guys, any final comments?
Well, you know, I was going to say, pull up for all the people out there. Pull up all the rest of the images on John Wilkes Booth's mummy. It's a real trip, and there's some pretty interesting photos out there, and they're all HD now, so you can really get a good shot of that guy.
Brian, you have Troy. Brian, you have Troy. So have send Troy a link to me so I can add him as a friend.
Yeah.
No,
There you go.
good.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Okay. Gosh.
Yeah, there's a book
Wow.
called The
Yeah, that's
Lincoln by Bill O'Reilly.
Killing Lincoln by O'Reilly. Yeah, Killing Lincoln.
Yeah.
And do I have it? Let me see if I got it.
Really? So there is one Killing Lincoln.
Killing Lincoln. Bill O'Reilly. A bunch of stuff.
I have Killing Kennedy, Killing Lincoln, Killing Jesus, and no Killing Lincoln. You got Kennedy, Patton, Reagan, no Lincoln. That's the one I don't got. I tried.
Oh, one other thing too, Brian. I want to put some prayers out there for Dakota too. Hope that little guy's doing all right.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too, Brian. How's that working out? Do you hear anything? Any updates?
You there, Brian?
We lost Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll remind if you could add me as a friend, Troy, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely, bud. I definitely will.
We could just compare notes, you know.
Yep.
But Tom, it's great. It's great seeing you. Don't get to see you too often.
I enjoyed being on the show.
Oh, it was great. It's great having you.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice meeting you, Tom.
So let's close this out because I think Brian just got booted. That's all. But anyway,
Yeah, probably.
Good talking to everyone, and everyone have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
All
Have a good one,
you
guys.
guys have a great night. Bye bye.
I guess goodbye too.
Hello, guys. Hello, is everybody there?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to get back in.
Hey guys, sorry about that. My computer blue screened. I had to reboot. So sorry about the latency coming back in. But guys, have a great Mandela Effect night. God bless. And don't give up hope. Love you guys.
Bye.